My name is Anindita. I'm a functional medicine certified health coach and a practitioner, and I'm so happy that you are here. Traveling with any kind of restrictive diet like gluten, dairy, corn, eggs, nuts, maybe is always difficult, and I have been doing this for a while. So I'm going to share with you 5 ways that you can travel with more ease and actually enjoy your trip. Right? So it is possible to do that. You have to just plan ahead. So my daughter and I were sitting at this restaurant. This was last year when we had gone to Goa. This was just after the lockdown had lifted, and I always call ahead no matter where we are going to make sure that there are enough gluten-free options. And so when I called ahead, they said they could make something for us, and this is by far the norm, basically the norm for me. So I always have a word with the chef. And so here we are sitting down for dinner, and the chef comes with this kind of a misshapen pizza, right? So we know it's a pizza because it looks like one. So he gets this pizza to our table, and he has this broad smile on our face, right? So then we realized that it was the first time that they had actually attempted to make a gluten-free pizza crust. This was a 5-star hotel that we were staying in, but it depends on the demands that they have. So they had made it, and my daughter and I took a bite, and while it was a bit crumbly because it was gluten-free and they had tried to make it for the first time, it tasted really nice, right? So, and I smiled, said it all, and by that time, we were surrounded by some of the other servers. The chef was there, and it was really nice to see the the effort that had gone in, and it tasted good. So it basically changed the whole the travel that we did for the rest of the time that we were in that particular hotel. And so the hotel staff, they went out of their way, they tried making different things for us, and I think by the time they left, we had added quite a few items on their gluten-free menu, right? So this is something that I wanted to share right at the onset, because I know how tough it can be otherwise if you're traveling, if you are on a restrictive diet yourself. Maybe you're off gluten, you're off dairy, and maybe a few other things. If you're traveling with a child who is on a restrictive diet like I was, it becomes really tough to really enjoy. But here's the thing: you will always have to plan ahead. You will have to always reach out, figure out where you are going, what's available there, and I'm going to share with you a few important things that you can you need to make a note of. But the most important thing is that you will have to prep for the trip. Like even if you have not been doing that, and I don't mean only the packing part, because we are of course all used to packing for a trip, but the food is something that you'll have to be careful with, right? So if you want to really enjoy. But even before deciding what you need to pack, what foods you need to carry, what are the other things that you need to do, like calling the hotel, etc., when you're traveling on a restricted diet, is the kind of approach that you take. It's the mindset that you have, right? Because obviously it's not fair that you should miss out on some of the foods, but if you have that kind of a mindset that it's kind of unfair, that while others might be, I think there was a network issue. So I was just mentioning that it's the approach that you take when you're traveling on a restrictive diet, when you are you've gone somewhere and you're off certain foods. It's also the kind of approach, the perspective that you have, that's going to make a huge difference, and that's where you start. So rather than feeling that life is being inherently unfair, that you have to miss out on these foods, if you have the kind of mindset where you take it as a challenge, right, and you're doing whatever is necessary to nourish your body and support your body's healing process, especially if you are dealing with any kind of chronic illness, any kind of diagnosis, and that's the reason you're off these kind of foods. So it's all the more important in this kind of a situation, right? But where do you start? Where do you start with preparing yourself for your travel? This is the reason I decided to do this kind of a session on this particular topic, is because I find that this comes up again and again with my clients, that I'll be traveling next week, I'll be traveling for a corporate trip, for a conference, I'll be traveling in for holidays, maybe that's coming up for you in December. So these are some of the very practical ways that you can travel with more ease and actually enjoy your trip. but starting with finding out about the place that you're going to is important. So that means, with the internet, with Google, it's very easy to figure it out. Obviously, if it's a big city, we may already know a lot about it, so you will know what are the places that you can get your groceries if you need to, as a fallback option. You don't need to carry a whole lot of stuff with you. However, if you're going to a smaller place, if you're going to a conference in a resort, so again, finding out where exactly you're going, what is the location, what are the kind of shops that are there, everything is available at your fingertips, right? So just finding out all these things will really help you. And at least you will have access to certain maybe groceries. You don't need to carry everything from you, right? You don't want to carry all of that. And if you need to have a quick meal or a snack, that's also possible. So this is why you need to do the legwork to figure out some of these things, right? Finding out where you're going. So for example, when I used to travel in India, this was 5, 6, 7 years ago, things are much easier now with the availability of products today. But when I used to travel 5, 6, 7 years ago, I always used to carry with me non-dairy milk, like soy milk, like small cartons of soy milk, simply because they were not available in most of the places. And I did not want to just land up there and then try and figure out where to get it from. So I used to carry 5, 6, depending on the number of days. And then maybe I still used to figure out where they are. They were available, but I used to carry certain packs and a few other things. But I don't need to do that anymore, right? In most places nowadays, you get access to all kinds of non-dairy products, gluten-free products, egg-free, etc. Right? So that's the beauty. And of course, if you're traveling to a small boutique place, small boutique hotel, there is also the option that you have of having fresh local produce, so seasonal produce. So it might be that you can certainly find out what kind of food that they can make with the local seasonal produce and the local cuisine, and you might actually be surprised with the kind of variety that you might get, which you've never probably expected. So the bottom line is that you will have to do your homework before you travel to any place, any particular place. Most of the time, you will probably know where you're going to much before you leave for that place, so you'll be able to do that, right? The second thing is that you need to, of course, then prepare for that. So now that you have some idea, how do you prepare for the travel? So obviously, it starts with making a list of the foods that you want to keep with you. And I have found in my own experience of traveling with a child with a restrictive diet is that I used to basically find it difficult to get snacks and a lot of times breakfast. Like for example, in breakfast, if you're off breads, if you're off eggs, if you're off dairy, then it becomes quite difficult sometimes to get breakfast. Of course, there are many other rice-based options, especially in India, but still it might become quite restrictive. So I used to always carry some kind of millet cereal, non-dairy milk, etc. Right? So and also you might be traveling in the car, in the flight, and you may not get anything in the airport, or when you stop on the way. So you just want to make sure that just for the trip as well, you're carrying something with you. So that's what's key, to pack with you. And as I said, it's usually the snacks and the breakfast that I found to be a bigger problem. For the meals, there is usually rice or some other gluten-free option, which is grain, etc., which is available or can be made. So that's not a big issue. And which is why I always recommend that my clients, because my clients, have one or more chronic illnesses, autoimmune conditions, so they're certainly of many of the foods that while they're working with me, and which is why I always recommend that they carry some millet-based cereal, some non-dairy milk, and some other options, some snacks. So snacks can be in the form of, again, millet puffs, roasted makhanas or fox nuts. Nowadays you get lovely vegetable chips, right? Roasted vegetable chips. You get very less processed, wholesome, nourishing snacks, low sugar snacks that are available. And I actually have a list of grocery and snacks that I put together for my clients, and something that people have been asking me for. So you can also get access to that. You can download the free guide. It's called Nourish Your Body Shopping List for Groceries and Snacks. And you can head to anindita.roongta.com/shopping list. That's aninditaroongta.com/shopping list and get your own copy. So obviously, as I mentioned, one of the things about preparation is obviously making a list, figuring out what you need to carry. The other thing is, calling up the hotel or the wherever you're staying and finding out also what's going to be on the menu, right? If you have an idea what's going to be on the menu, you can actually plan a bit better. So for example, if you know there is going to be an Italian restaurant and you would like to probably have an option of going there, suppose you're going for a work conference, or a work meeting, etc., and you're there for several days, and you know there's an Italian restaurant that you would probably like to visit, then what you can do is carry a packet of gluten-free pasta with you, right? And you can actually ask the restaurant to make it for you. And if you call them ahead of time, if you have a word with them, give them specific instructions, of course, because you have to be very clear whether they can use cheese or dairy or cream, etc. And you have to be very specific as to what they can use. Most of these places are more than happy to accommodate that, as long as you're clear what you want. And you have informed them ahead of time, right? That's what has been my experience. I always call ahead. I always have a chat with the chef, with the team, and most of the time, especially this is obviously true for all the 5-star and the 4-star hotels and the resorts, but it is equally true for other accommodations, right? Homestays and boutique hotels. If you actually speak to them beforehand, explain what's going on, most people are happy to accommodate that, right? So I've done that many times. I've always carried gluten-free, say, pastas or some other items with me, and then I've asked the kitchen to make us something from that, right? Or customize particular salad for us, So all of these options are there for you, right? So there is no need to feel that you are going to miss out completely when you're traveling anywhere, when you're going out with your friends, your family, that you're going to completely miss out on everything. That's not true. And today I'm sharing with you some practical ways that you can help yourself with this. So finally, putting all of this together and making it easy for you to take actionable steps to implement what I just said. I'm just going to take you through these 5 ways. So the first one is call ahead and speak to the chef, to the team, and just figure out the kind of menu options that are available wherever you are staying. And also to understand, when you speak to them, what kind of flexibility do they provide, right? How flexible are they? There might be times that they are not willing to sort of make many changes in their menu, but most of the time I have found that's not true. I mean, most kitchens are happy to accommodate, because they want people to come and have a good time, obviously, and to come back to their property. So most of the time that is true. So you can have a chat with the chef. You can explain to them what you are not having and why, and and what are the options that they can provide for you. So that's number one. So calling ahead. Number 2 is finding out about the local substitutes, local cuisine actually, right? What is the cuisine? What are the typical foods that they consume, especially if it's a completely new place? What are the availability of food substitutes in that place? What kind of shops that are available? You get to know everything now on the internet. So that's a very good thing. And anything else that will help you to decide what to pack. So obviously you want to minimize taking stuff from your home and then carrying it all the way with you as much as possible. As I mentioned, certain things make sense to carry, and I've talked about it. But if you can find out what kind of shops are there, what kind of groceries available, especially in the larger cities, that's usually not a problem. It's only in the smaller places that you might have to carry a bit more stuff. And number 3 is, obviously I've already mentioned, packing some snacks and breakfast items. I found that as the place that I have always struggled a bit, especially the snacks. It's this in between meal times when you want to actually munch on something which is something crispy and crunchy, and there you might actually not get too many options if you are not prepared ahead of time. So there is a list that I provide for my clients, and as I mentioned, that you can head to aninditaruta.com/shopping list to get your own guide. So you'll get a lot of ideas, a lot of products which are available in India, along with the links to purchase them. Number 4, developing a good rapport with the chef, with the servers over there, with the hotel staff. This has been, in my personal experience, one of the most important reasons why I've always had very good experiences wherever we have traveled. If you're staying, especially if you're staying at a particular place for a while, if you can build that kind of rapport, you'll be almost always surprised by how much they will sort of what should I say, go out of their way for you, right? So building that rapport is important for many different reasons, but here also it helps to build a genuine connection. It really helps to do that, right? So number 5 is keep an open and curious mind when you travel, rather than having a very closed mind of that I will not get too many options, there is not much that I can eat, so I will not really enjoy myself while others will. Just that kind of an attitude is not really helpful. So keeping an open and curious mind when you are traveling, being open to trying out different options, as I mentioned, that the local cuisines, depending on the ingredients that you are comfortable with, that you are allowed to have or you should be having, that is really helpful when you are traveling. So the 5 ways that you can travel with ease. The first one, as I mentioned, is call ahead and speak to the chef, to the hotel staff, and figure out the kind of menu options that are available. Number 2 is find out about the local cuisine and availability of the groceries and the food substitutes in that place wherever you are going. Number 3 is pack some snacks and breakfast options. That's going to be really helpful wherever you go. If you need to, you can always carry some other items for lunch and dinner, but I think these 2 are necessary. Number 4 is develop a good rapport with the chef, with the house, with the staff at the hotel, with the servers in the restaurant. That's going to really help you to get a lot more variety and options and enjoy your trip. And number 5, keep an open and curious mind when you're traveling, rather than having this closed or this attitude that you will not be able to really enjoy yourself just because you're on a particular diet. So I hope that this has given you many more ideas. This has opened your mind to the possibility of really enjoying your travel once again, enjoying your trip once again, finding it easier to actually relax and be relaxed about your diet when you are traveling, especially when you are on a restricted diet, when you may be of gluten, maybe of dairy and some other foods. But just to show you that it is possible to travel and also have fun and also enjoy. It's just that you have to be well prepared and you have to plan ahead, and I've given you plenty of ways to do that, and some things to think about. And as I mentioned, I have put together a list of groceries and snacks that you can find in India with links to purchase them. You can head to anindita.roongta.com/shopping list, anindita.roongta.com/shopping list, and get your own copy here.